So, let's do this. Okay. Take a minute here to just catch my breath. Been running around. And so this is the third floor studio, positioning camera, headed up to the roof deck, and I could definitely use cleanup, but I do want to just like share a bunch of people. I'm on a really squeaky drum throne here, so I might switch different seating pieces. I don't know, maybe not. Anyway, acoustics in here are what, I had designed it for long ago, and the breeze just is so inspiring. And we've been blessed to have a lot of creative residencies, and people come here and do recordings. That's not why I'm here, but that's how some of you know me. So the Gretsch connection, as far as the vintage Gretsch and the drums that I play, and those that are in the community that I sometimes sell kits to, or individual pieces. I'm grateful to all of you. I mean, it's just, we love this shared thing. So that's one community I'm in. Another, as far as the broader musical community, there's also a number of people that have come and connected with me, or I've connected with them, relative to this parsonage and this building and our kinship and the collective and all of the sacrament that we offer, but not solely for the sacrament that we offer, without actually understanding the bigger picture of what this whole space is about. In that respect, I'm trying to be as open to communicating to all that have cynicism, how that you just have to kind of show up and check it in for yourself, because if you want to deny something and project something, that's on you. From us and our perspective of what's going on here, it is 100% real. So as much as I'm making this video, knowing I've got 3 kids coming back home today, and I'm really excited just to have my son back in town, and one of my daughters is headed off to college, and my other daughter, she was already at college this summer for her session, and we'll be going next year, and that's my youngest. So I'm now in a space of rethinking what the parsonage here in Meadow House and my existence here, living here, what that looks like. And there's as many people wanting in on it and stunting with kind of like their own agenda as there are people trying to push me out because of the water rights. And that's a whole nother reality of the farm, the water rights, our cannabis licenses. And there's a competitive drive to get at these mineral waters that I believe are sacred, and that's the sacrament. And in that respect, there's a lot of people just playing sick business games. And, I used to be retained by the brand group at Keurig Dr. Pepper downstream. Literally, the aquifer here of the mineral waters is something that I've identified. Not anybody there at the headquarters, nor in the greater area of Vermont that is even trying to stake claims to these waters, understood that there's this volcanic reality here, that 1.8 billion years ago it erupted and it created this massive volcano. And so the story of the sacred stoneworks here, metamorphic rock, that's me figuring out geology, and then starting to understand a number of sacred geometry pieces that over 3 decades here in the Hunger Ravines, which is also an ancient wildlife corridor that connects black bear and bobcat and lynx between the Worcester Mountains behind us here through that window, that's looking east, to the Green Mountains to the west. So that's how another group of people know me and understand me through, I used to chair the marketing committee for the Green Mountain Club. I used to be a caretaker up at Sterling Pond and Camel's Hump, and I've hiked the Lawn Trail end to end twice, which is 275 miles, the length of Vermont. And so in that respect, I've seen a significant amount of this state by foot, and seen all of these things that now, 3 decades later, when I start piecing together the archaeoastronomy, it's not lightly that I take my journey as far as preparing me for what's happening here. And if it wasn't for a number of those pieces that put me in this position, I don't think I would have been able to have had the vision to go remove the earth from the stoneworks. And in doing so, as you can see by some of the videos I've posted, there's a significant number of triangles, isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles, references to mathematics in general, a parabola that's 1,400 feet. It matches all these UNESCO World Site significant parameters for scales and sizes of mound sites throughout here in the Americas. It has some matching step technology. And so there's so many videos that I've posted to the YouTube account, so search out Meadow Observatory if you're interested. But I wanted just to kind of post this to share with everybody the stuff that's going on in my life. And the cannabis licenses, you know, we were working so diligently, and there was just so many red tape delays, and things that were delaying us that looked like, well, it's just little things, right? And then they add up to the point where all of a sudden, the regulated system that's saying, okay, if you pay all this money to license up and get into it, including all of my time for legal services, to do all of the things, to file the papers, to do the things, right? All white collar work that I can't write off. You know, that's part of my reality, operating costs of those licenses. And when that system of regulated demand supply can't actually support, you know, we were delivering quality that was all there. And on so many levels in packaging and pieces that are way above what one would call average. And I'm not trying to say that I didn't enjoy sampling everybody else's as a Vermont Collective member, if you will, as well as the founder. I want to make sure that everybody at a local level that feels like they're invested in this industry was getting ahead. That didn't mean me empiring. But there are some people that took it to such a length that they figured their cartel of government was going to racketeer 3 times the sales tax rate of any other product like sugar that kills far more people than cannabis, right? So when you look at the tax structure, I was out there just absolutely saying government's looking to take far more of our money without saying to the alcohol industry, hey, you guys are causing far more deaths statistically. Maybe you should be paying for it, excuse me. And so in that light, there's a lot of people that want to see me fail in a regulated construct. I accept that. And I'm not trying to pretend to be the nice guy just so I can make sales and sell out. What I do want to do is create a healthy and sustainable community and bigger industry for all of us. And if it means me taking a step back to do that so that our partners can move forward, well, then I will. To the degree that that's just government targeting me specifically, what relative to, you know, an ex-wife and her husband now that are state employees, sure, one could argue that. Relative to lots of drama that people projected onto me, sure. And recently, you know, we had somebody try to bomb, you know, last year somebody tried to bomb this house, and my kids are coming back, so I want to make sure that this space is feeling healthy for them. But it traumatized our family, and it really did a thing that after the fact, after all of this person's displaced rage on me, he's going through a divorce, he's got issues in his world, you know, we caught him shooting up and all sorts of horrible things adjacent in the trailhead, you know, and then I called him out. I said, well, this attorney that is a friend of his that he was so adamantly defending, you know, it turns out that guy's a crook that worked with the state to like negotiate a 1-acre swap that wasn't on the books, but like I was in environmental court for 5 years on that. And that's all the kinds of stuff that was going on just to create drama. So that one group of people succeeds, another group of people fails. And it's specifically me. So it's one of those things where it's, you know, raining outside. If you hear some noise, that's what that is. You know, and that rain percolates down and it gets into the aquifer and it creates this really beautiful mineral wash from that volcanic reality, right? So this water is significant, and back in 2018, I was the guy that said, wait a second, Keurig Dr. Pepper wants to come in here and just start sucking it straight out with a pipe? Like, you know, this is wrong on every level, because what they were trying to do was fraudulent. And it had a lot of different pieces where I shut down a lot of pieces for a lot of people that wanted a corporate solution. And they wanted their people to win at the big corporate cheese. And it was always about the money for them. So I backed away, and I kind of, you know, we are here. I'm an ordained reverend. I've hosted weddings here at Meadow House. You know, I've pivoted so many times from doing things like judicial evaluations for the state of Vermont, Things that I used to do for the American Bar Association, speaking at their annual meetings to the NABI, the North American Bar Executives. Lots of different things for the American Marketing Association, where the president at the time, would thank me for open commissions that, I chose in, includes things like marketing ethics and marketing at children and, ways that could help the industry as opposed to harm, right? So I'm now literally being, attacked by government in that the DA in this particular case, the guy that tried to bomb our house, is like basically saying they're trying to get me to say, oh, they're not going hard on crime because I used to give pro bono services to the Defender General. And the Defender General is literally the people that, the attorneys that if you don't have money to support yourself, you ask for help from the state so that the rule of law literally does its job. I don't care if that's in a red package or a blue package. I've never been that guy. I'm black and white. I believe in the fucking rule of law. I always did. I'm not saying that the founders were great human beings and didn't have slaves and all of that. That's a different story. That's a different context. And I'm the first person to go down that road of like the genocide that went on prior to the Americas becoming what they are today. And acknowledging that and understanding that influence from European one percenters today still through a Judeo-Christian construct, that is a conversation a lot of people don't want me to have here at the Sacred Stoneworks. And if we're doing that, we're actually acknowledging native roots in a group of Odanak that I believe deserve state recognition, and there's a whole group of people in government that are trying to oppose that. So I'm not trying to fight government, but what I do see is a specific political party at this junction that is literally taking an elected district attorney and allowing her to try to get me to be weaponized in this game, where they then had the person that bombed this house go to the local gun store and make a big stink and then have it recently passed, like a 3-week-old bill that was on the books relative to gun sales at retail stores, triggered that, bad pun, but it triggered that, and then they could get on the news and they could make a big story to all Vermonters. Oh, look, the Democrats did good work. This bill worked. And I even sat on a Zoom call with the district attorney before all that happened, and I said, don't do this. But they did. And this party has done this multiple times over. And I can't explain how frustrating it is to have values that seem to align with all the rhetoric of what they speak, but then when you push to shove and say, where is your integrity? This is it. They want me to be the guy that rails on the system. We need more of that. Good budget for their department. So they broke the rule of law to weaponize somebody that tried to bomb my house and kill me and my son. He tried to light the wick twice. We have it on video camera. The evidence is overwhelming. He would be convicted by a jury of his peers in a heartbeat. That's how sound the evidence is. But because she's a Democratic elected official deciding this case, she's going to go and take a deal that basically gives him 60 days to 24 months suspended. And I'm not saying it needs to be more. What I'm saying is he was used as a patsy to stunt at me so that they could conditionalize their law and make a precedent on the legal books at my expense. So I'm not having it, and I'm calling for Michelle to step down. If she doesn't, then I'm going to the Professional Responsibility Board. I want to be very clear about this. So, a lot of stuff to unpack here. I hope the good stuff is where people coming into my world are saying that's what I want more of, because we're trying to provide that. It's a beautiful site. If you want to go online, I'm going to put, it's at the infusionary.com/shop, and you can get to the Kinship for Sacred Spaces. A $25 donation gets you a tour, all sorts of pantry goods if you want to pick from. Everybody gets one. If you add more quantity to your order and donation, you will get more abilities to pick from a pantry while you're on a tour of the Stoneworks here. That's just as simple as it is. It's the best way to support my research. If you want to check out the YouTube page, all of the polyhedron modeling is up there. I'm going to probably be absent for a little bit as I work with my kids to kind of like just reconnect and like hopefully share stuff that's not too overwhelming. And it's a lot there, but that's why the tour is there. So for $25, you can come here. I'll do the exact same with you and try to measure the situation. How much do you really want to know about stuff, and how much do you want me to ramble? Because there's a lot of depth here and a lot of sacred geometry, and there's amazing, beautiful cultural realities that align with histories that are ancient, that if it weren't for pioneers that are in this industry publishing this data about archaeoastronomy, I would be lost, and I cannot credit them enough. So I hope if they stuck around to the end of this, they understand that I see the community as way bigger than myself. I'm learning from it constantly. What I think is as megalithically significant here, by way of demonstration in all kinds of eras, going from not just the Odenak and Proto-Algonquin, but to the Viking and Nordic passage, and to the Bronze Age, and to a Paleolithic age, where the stone dolmens support the theories of how rocks would have been moved on glacier ice and all of that. So these are things where I think we'll be able to map regions of glacial advancement relative to dolmens in the future. I look forward to working with the community across that space and in sort of that Paleolithic space. I look forward to working with the folks in the Midwest, in the mound community. I've reached out to a number of folks, and some people have checked out our mounds here. And the way in which we connect through a global positioning system effectively that the ancients created is absolutely mind-blowing. As it positions us relative to Machu Picchu, it means that the ways in which we intersect with all of the mounds that the Adena culture and the Cahokia and the Mississippian and just all of those rich Mississippian cultures down south, like Poverty Point, and all the way up to like the Hopewell. These UNESCO sites are significant, but we actually also align to them, and then as Machu Picchu aligns to them as well, creates a really beautiful grid system that, when you look at it, it has a significant pattern to it. And that pattern is probably what would be anywhere from 5 to 10 degree increments. It could be as down, depending on how many more GPS points I plot, it could get down to 1 degree increments. So it really depends on how much is relevant, and that's where I'm going to look back to the community and say, can we do this together? Can you provide me GPS points? Can we start mapping my Google Earth into a new light where I think it's just far more robust. And I've reached out to Graham Hancock through the LinkedIn, and we've connected, and he understands that I'm coming at this with a scientific lens. For those that reach out to me there, you'll see most of these people have worked with me or participated in my research. I've been in 125 countries. My words interpreted and survey designs and all sorts of instruments and research battery translated by all sorts of sponsors in different communities of digital analytics and marketing and HR and recruitment, headhunters and such. So that element of work has brought people to me, and I've worked with many bar associations as well, Fortune 100s, private sector, et cetera, but small mom and pops too. And so the whole purpose of sharing that was just to say that many of the larger ones wanted to double check my work. And so when you have like a unified bar, as the example I share, in a unified bar, the demographics of all of the members in that bar. So when you have a report coming back, the statistical representation that I delivered was within 0.1%, pretty much on every category. So, it was one of those things where because of that, you earn a reputation. And I'm trying to make sure that people understand I'm not just going out there and throwing that reputation away. I'm doing the signing it away thing with my hands down here. But, ultimately, that is the reality where a lot of folks are going to look at that and say, well, it's rocks, right? And I'm going to point back to my statistical background, my modeling background, and just say the levels of what I'm finding and the correlations to all of the data work that I'm doing is not really a matter of politics. This is as hard science as it gets. But because of that, it's mind-blowing for me, and it makes me a true believer. Call it what you will, I'm a born-again pagan, and that allows space for everybody to be part of checking this out. You can call yourself whatever religion you believe in. I don't make any expectation on you. If you want to come participate in the kinship, we hold space for everyone, and so you can come check stuff out. So with that, I realize lighting's changing, and my cap is kind of starting to look really shadowy and foreboding. And in any event, I want to go check in with my kids, and I'm going to wish everybody well for a bit. Hopefully this covers a lot of ground, because I got people coming at me from different directions, and I really want to stay on the positive. So for those that are hearing negative things, just know there's a lot of really big level people have their jobs on the line. They have reputations on the line. They did some really bad stuff. And now, because of that, they're trying to pressure people around me to make me feel this reputation damage. It's a common thing done in politics, and it's why I got out of politics long ago, because I didn't really ever want to be in a game of war with other people playing stupid stunt-at games. My logic, or need for logic, insanity, and thought is far greater than my want to have people think that I'm right. I will speak my mind, people will hate me for it, but ultimately I've had the best clients that appreciate me for it and know that I will always speak the truth, so they don't have yes men around them. If you can appreciate that, come reach out to me, because that's what I do, and I'm really good at it. And check out my patterns, check out my polyhedron. It's only because of the artifacts that I'm finding here, literally locally, that got me thinking, and then I started realizing from all the research around me of these really brilliant people that there's a very big connected thing, and I'm sitting right on it. Now, I always thought the ancient treasure here was this wildlife corridor and the black bears and the mineral water, and specifically the mineral water that the black bears like to walk in with their paws, because that's their spa, and it follows with all the raspberries and all the water life and the crayfish, and that was taken away from them when the Hunger Ravines got built. And chopped up by a group of people that literally wanted to chop it up to use land and zoning so that they could frame who gets access to the actual resources itself. They only cared about the water. They didn't care about the habitat that was there before everybody else for these black bear. But forgetting about that, now it's a much bigger thing, because the parabola that extends from winter solstice sunrise to summer solstice sunrise, I should say winter solstice there to summer solstice sunrise there, it's significant, and it's 1,400 feet long, and it's all stoneworks that are connected in effigies with everything that you could possibly imagine thrown in, like the kitchen sink kind of thing, literally with basins of water and things. So I invite you to come be part of this. If you want to come book a room and just hang out, and I'll walk you through stuff and show you stuff. We used to do Airbnb. I was superhost for a while with my kiddos. Lots of fun doing that. We always have a room or two here that we can open up and do that kind of thing, but I'm not on Airbnb active currently. Actually, we're up there, we're just not active. Anyway, there's a lot of ways to engage. I think I just want to make sure that, all grounds are covered, and it's kind of long, so I'll post it to YouTube and link to some of the socials, and if you feel like checking it out, I appreciate you, and have a great day. Peace.